On today's masterclass, you are going to learn directly from Rachel Tipton, the author of the Gift of Wreckage. And this is a signed book from her directly to the Limitless Nation, right here. Well, let me introduce you about Rachel. Rachel is a business owner, is a fitness expert, is a real estate agent, as well as an executive assistant for the Fortune 5,000 company. As an entrepreneur with many different helmets, Rachel works hard at everything that she does. She once mentioned that six-pack abs are the only standard that she can accept in her life. I have this privilege to interview her because she's a go-getter. She's doing a lot of things and then making things happen on a daily basis. So let's dive into it. Rachel, tell me something that I haven't mentioned to the audience yet.
It's true. You seem to have gotten everything. Let's see, anything that you didn't mention to the audience is my first career was as a dancer. When I was 5 years old, I had my first ballet class, and I remember it clearly. Came home and said to my mom, I'm going to be a dancer. That was it for about the first 27 years of my life. I was completely focused. So I am like that. If I decide I'm going to do something, I just do it. But it's also true, the six-pack abs, that's a big goal. I do like to keep it as my standard. I'm working on it again right now.
I'm pretty sure you can make it because you know what you're doing. I like to start out with a simple quote first. So why don't you just tell us about the quote that you abide yourself with?
My favorite quote is, dreams only work if you do. I love that quote for a couple of reasons. And one is because it's a great reminder that nothing really amazing is ever achieved unless I work hard for it. Uh-huh. And number two, it's a great reminder when I get tired of grinding away towards whatever goal I'm going after at that time.
Is there something that you abide all the time? That's a very great quote, by the way.
Pretty much. I like to think really big and set really huge goals, always go towards them. I think that's part possibly of the dancer mentality of just always striving towards that next dream.
So tell us a little bit about the setback that you faced in the past before you live a limitless life.
I have seen a good handful of setbacks and challenges in my life. I really go into all of that in my book, The Gift of Wreckage, that I wrote last year. Really just basically...
What is the name of the book?
It's called The Gift of Wreckage. I make a joke about it that I kind of dump my purse out of all my past problems for the world to see, in terms of my past history with domestic abuse and eating disorders, addiction, and chronic disease. The reason I did so is so that I can basically shine a light for anybody that's going through that darkness, so they can find their way out as well. Because I have found my way out into what I see as a limitless life. I
definitely can relate that because there's so many people under darkness. They don't tell the world because they're embarrassed about this. But in your book, is definitely recommended to read for the Limitless Nation to listen to it. And then you guys have to read the book. And definitely I'm going to put on the description on it as well. Tell us about your limitless moment, about what you have done so far until today's day.
I think one great limitless moment that was a turning point for me after going through a lot of really tough things. My limitless moment was when I was in the midst of really being ill with my Crohn's disease. I have Crohn's disease. It's an autoimmune disease of the digestive system. And in 2010, I was really, really sick, like couldn't care for my child. Laying in bed, it can be a very painful and capricious disease. Some days you feel fine, the next day you feel awful. And when I was in the midst of all that, I was studying a lot of Buddhism and like trying to practice acceptance and deal with all this pain. And there was just a moment where I just was staring at the ceiling. I was wondering, like, is this going to kill me? Because it certainly felt painful enough that it would. Did a little research, found out, nope, not going to kill you. And so I went, you know what, I'm done with letting this situation control me. And it was just like that. And I just went, how am I going to overcome this. So I started right then and there doing research on what can I eat, what should I eat, what should I not eat, what should I do. That's when I started back working out. Like I had been in bed just suffering for like 6 months, and then I just started working out again, and it was just like crawling through workouts, but gradually I felt better. Like I didn't necessarily feel all the way physically better, but mentally I felt better.
Mentally, you feel stronger. That's definitely it.
Yeah, and just kind of progressively got myself to control the disease a little bit better. I mean, it's still in my life. I just, 12 weeks ago had a really major abdominal surgery due to the disease, and fighting my way back from that. But it's not, I may have this chronic disease, but it doesn't control me and it doesn't limit me.
I definitely can relate that. I also saw your journey on getting the 6-pack abs again, which is wonderful. Just kind of made me want to do the same thing, because after the surgery last year, I gained like almost 30 pounds. That was too much for me because I used to have 4-pack abs. All of a sudden, I couldn't do kickboxing anymore. That's kind of limit me. But I just say, I have to find a way out. So when I look into your profile, your information, your fan page about fitness and all these things, like, wow, I said, I have to do it. I have to do it because Rachel is doing it. So I need to do it too. I need to do it for myself.
Awesome.
Let me ask you this. I know you're working on a lot of stuff. I saw that you're doing the real estate. You are working in the Fortune 5,000 companies. You are also a fitness superstar. What are you working on? Hope you enjoyed the masterclass session so far. Before we get into the second half of the session itself, it is very crucial for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I really don't want you to miss out on another masterclass where I'm going to share with you what other expert celebrities, Fortune 5,000 companies do to become successful and live a limitless life. So make sure you subscribe right now, and every single time we upload a new video, you will receive a notification bell. This allows you to enjoy the masterclass on the regular basis. So make sure you subscribe right now. Well, as you are ready, let's get into the second half of the masterclass session. Tell the audience.
Well, it's great that you were inspired by my fitness journey back from my surgery. And I will say that just really quickly, that journey back is after you get the medical clearance and your doctors say, okay, you're cool, like you can do this or you can't do this. It's a big mental challenge of like, okay, I want to get my 6-pack abs back. I really don't feel like it because I don't feel that great, but you got to get over it. So I have been documenting that to be able to put a product together of how to get back in shape after something major. What I'm really doing right now behind the scenes is a real estate app that is called the Closing Curve. It's a software that is meant to streamline the communication between agents and buyers and all the service providers to make the experience better. Because if you were in real estate, it's kind of a clunky process a lot of times, and people don't always know what's going on. So we're working on putting together something that will simplify the process and make it maybe more fun rather than nail biting stressful for the buyers. So that's on the horizon. The landing page, we're working on all that. I'm working with Simon Harries on it. He's working on it, and we'll have a landing page at theclosingcurve.com real soon. Right now it's just holding.
Closingcurve.com is a CLOSING curve CURVE.com. All right. So make sure you guys check it out and see how it will work out for you. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a lot of information to making sure that you have your first house or second house or third house and all this stuff. Let's talk about your limitless journey, because that's something that a lot of people that listen to this want to know. What was holding you back to live a limitless life? What was that one thing that holding you back in the past?
The one thing that used to hold me back was very negative inner dialogue.
Okay.
And I looked back in old journals in the past, and I used to just be like, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm stupid. This inner dialogue that we tell ourselves that we would never say to other people. Like, you would never say that to your child. You would never say that kind of thing. But I used to do that, and I had to train that out of myself. And it's not that I'm so great at it, because it still happens in moments of weakness, but I listen to a lot of positive things. I read a lot of positive things. I meditate to be able to now have a positive inner dialogue.
Okay. So basically there's a struggle between yin and yang. The yin is focusing on like, oh, don't do this, you're not good. And then the yang said, you got to do this, you got to get it done. Okay. There's a
Right.
struggle between the two of them.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So what was the best advice you have ever received in your life?
The best advice I've ever received is to enjoy the process. I found that to be true. I was given that advice when I was a dancer because you're always striving to be better and there's never really a final product. That's the case in fitness, that you always have to keep going in fitness to enjoy the process, because there's like that one moment in time where you have the six-pack abs, but if you stop working at it, it's gone like that. And
Yes.
same thing in developing software, that I can't be attached to one final thing or the way I want it to be, because it's just always constantly evolving. It's a process.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, I can definitely relate to you on that one as well, because similar with the 4-pack abs, without knowing it's gone. It took me about 2 years to work on it, and it just gone like within seconds. I mean, within a couple of months.
So fast.
Yep,
I've
so fast.
always used the analogy with my fitness clients, or I did always in the past, that like fitness is like pushing a boulder up a hill. Like you have to work so hard to get it all the way up there. But if you don't maintain and keep working at it, that boulder rolls down the hill so fast, and then you have to start over.
I completely agree with you on that. Everything that in our life, regardless whether it's a relationship, health, business, we got to maintain it all the time in order to keep up with it. And then on top of that, we got to work on growing it.
Right. True.
That's a lot of things that we need to digest for sure.
Yes.
So you are always on the go all the time. I can tell from the conversation that we had in the past. Can you share one personal habit that attribute to your success?
I move every day. I put some sort of exercise into every single day. Even on rest days, because rest days are important, I always do some sort of yoga or stretching. If I don't exercise, and I think it's, again, my dance background, if I don't have some sort of exercise every single day, I will be crawling out of my skin. I think people sometimes forget that fitness is not all about the six-pack abs. It's also about getting that energy out of you, like any kind of negative or sometimes positive energy, get it out of your body or utilize it in a really good way, builds your energy in a positive way. Stress relief, well as if you are really focused on fitness and have that in your life, it can absolutely increase your productivity.
Mm-hmm. So do you have any one resource you want to share with the Limitless family?
One resource, Audible. I use Audible like crazy. If my car is moving and my daughter is not in the car and we're singing to whatever music she wants, I'm listening to an audiobook and learning something new. Business books, personal development books, like to keep that positive inner dialogue, just listening to Audible.
You use Audible as a way to get all this new input, positive thinking, mindset, and feed your brain every single day. That's awesome. So
Yes.
what book will you recommend to the Limitless family?
I would recommend my book, of course, and I know you're going to put that link in there, but some of my favorite books are The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy, Rise and Grind by Damon John. Right now I'm listening to a great book. It's called The Obstacle is the Way. So many good books out there. I could go on forever.
Let's talk about your book for a moment.
Okay.
What will the audience learn inside your book?
Well, as I mentioned, I go into the various challenges that I have personally been through, but at the end of the book, I give you tips about how to overcome your own obstacles as well. I mean, my main point of my book is that no matter what you're going through, no matter what you've gone through, you can live a limitless life if you take 100% responsibility for whatever it is that's going on.
Okay.
Whether if you're in a bad relationship, then don't necessarily blame the other person. You're allowing it in your life. If you have gotten fat, then, nobody forced food down your throat. So it's your responsibility, If if you have a chronic disease like myself, I'm not going to cry about it. I'm just going to take control and do what I can to live the best life I can with what I have in my life right now.
If you were to start all over again, like if you way back like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, or maybe perhaps when you were in the darkest moment of your life, what will you do differently to live a limitless life?
The darkest time in my life was when I was in my first marriage, and it was a very abusive situation that I got myself into. The turning point was when we worked together on a cruise ship, and that's a whole nother story that's in the book. And he got fired and I left with him. I left my job with him because I thought I was in love with him, and I was in love with him. I think sometimes I wonder if I hadn't done that, how different my life would look if I hadn't made a choice based on a man that I thought I was in love with and let someone else decide my fate, if you will. I mean, I'm grateful for what I learned from that situation, but I definitely won't let anybody dictate my choices anymore. That's for sure. Nobody.
So basically at that time, there was an internal dialogue between yin and yang inside you saying that, oh, okay, maybe I should follow with my gut feeling, or should I follow with something else? If you were to choose the other path, maybe your life will be different by now. Is that what you're saying?
Right. I don't necessarily think it would be better because I learned a lot from my journey as it is. I mean, I think everything I've learned in my life is valuable, and I'm grateful for it because I don't think I would be the strong woman that I am now if I hadn't have gone through that. But I often wonder, had I gone with my gut, like you said, my gut was telling me, don't do this, don't go. But my heart was saying, oh, but I'm in love with him. And
I understand that. I didn't understand the inner struggle that we all had, because one person that I spoke with, he said that is what we call the internal demon. They are out there to get us all the time when we are weak. I completely agree with him, and I completely agree with you is how hard it is to be able to remove that addictions itself.
Gut's always right. The gut is
always
right.
And then they are your best buddy. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for your time. Appreciate it. Guys, make sure that you check on Rachel, and then there will be a link product book. Make sure you get it. Learn from her struggle and what you can do to overcome the fear that you had in your life. Thank you so much, Rachel, for your time.
Thanks, Henry.
Appreciate it. That was intense. Okay, well, that's a wrap. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the button subscribe. Okay, and if you want to go deeper on learning how to have a limitless mindset, make sure you download my new ebook, The Limitless Mindset, for free at mylimitlessgift.com. It will show you how you can live a limitless life from today's forward. Plus, I'm going to share with you tips and secrets on what you can do on an ongoing basis. Until then, stay limitless forever.